This is the newsroom for Thursday, July 17, 2025. We're broadcasting to you on E1, SKAR TV NTN, and TARZEE TV in Bartica. In the headlines, a young woman claims she was beaten, threatened with a gun, later offered payment to stay silent under the watch of presidential hopeful Azruddin Mohamed. President Ali unveils plans for a new development bank aiming to boost opportunities for small and medium-scale businesses.
So accessing financing becomes easier, much more simple, and at less cost.
A cultural leader calls for parade ground to be protected as sacred soil, saying African identity's true heart is in its spirituality, not just history. And in sport, Hetemaya's blitz and Moti's all-around excellence gave Amazon Warriors a spot in GSL final against Rampur Riders. With the news, I'm Kurt Campbell. Thanks for joining us. First up, a young woman says she was assaulted, threatened with a gun, and pressured to drop her complaint, all allegedly at the hands of a political organizer and under the watch of presidential hopeful Azruddin Mohamed. Police say 29-year-old Bradley Sampson, better known by his street name Dirty Doggy, turned himself into officers this afternoon, days after a wanted bulletin was issued for his arrest. He's accused of beating the woman with a gun, threatening her life, and then trying to cover it all up. The woman, a sales rep from Macdoom on the east bank of the Demerara, told investigators she was hired by Sampson to do work for the political party We Invest in Nationhood, or WIN, on nominations day. She was promised $50,000, but when she turned up at the Square of the Revolution on July 15th to collect, she says she just got $10,000. An argument broke out, and then she says Sampson attacked, kicked, punched, and struck her in the head with a firearm, an attack she says was partly caught on camera and widely circulated on social media. Later that day, the young woman says she was lured to the home of U.S.-sanctioned businessman and political figure Azruddin Mohamed. There, she claims she was detained for over an hour by Mohamed's armed guards. She told police Mohamed himself confronted her. Furious that the video had gone public. She says he demanded she drops the case against Sampson and even offered her $500,000 to withdraw the complaint, all while an armed guard lifted a shirt to reveal a gun and chillingly warned her, "Don't feel I don't know you're living in Macdoom." Facing growing pressure, Mohamed surrendered to police at the Ramveld police station today. He was questioned and then released without charge for now. Outside the station, Mohamed denied paying anyone off, claiming instead that he's against abuse of women. His lawyer told reporters there was nothing sinister about the money allegedly offered and insisted the woman herself is unwilling to face Mohamed in a confrontation.
Doggy incident, I'm against any person abusing women. I'm against that. And that's why I called the woman. And I apologize on my behalf and my party's behalf.
Maybe speaking on behalf of Mr. Doggy or making some kind of representation.
And you would have spoken to your party member as well? Doggy.
Yeah. Is he still a member or a supporter?
Doggy's not a member. He's a fan. He's a supporter.
But police say they are treating the allegations with the utmost seriousness, and charges could include assault, intimidation, unlawful confinement, and an attempt to pervert the course of justice. Meanwhile, the man at the center of the beating, Dirty Doggy, is now in custody. He turned himself in at the Brickdam police station this afternoon in the company of his lawyer. He was immediately arrested. Sampson is wanted not only for the brutal beating, but also for allegedly possessing an unlicensed firearm and threatening behavior. Police say this investigation is far from over. For now, both the high-profile businessman and his alleged enforcer remain under the microscope as detectives try to piece together exactly what happened and whether political power was used to silence a woman who says she was violently wronged. One of Azruddin Mohamed's top organizers has dramatically walked away from his fledgling party deepening internal cracks for the U.S. sanctioned businessman's presidential campaign. Versami Rabaya, a familiar political figure in Region 6, has resigned from Mohamed's We Invest in Nationhood or WIN party, citing deep disrespect and internal conflict. Ramaya, who was a key mobilizer long before WIN's official launch last month, says he was sidelined and shut out of key activities, including the opening of the party's WIM office in Berbice and the nomination day events this week. He also says he's been the target of false accusations from within Mohamed's inner circle and made it clear he wants nothing more to do with the group. A veteran of shifting political allegiances, Ramaya has resigned before, twice from the Alliance for Change and later from a coordinator post with the People's Progressive Party Civic. This year, he joined Mohamed's WIN team, hoping to build new support in Berbice. Now, just weeks in, he's out and not looking back.
I am not comfortable the way I was actually treated. And if I have to reveal a few things, even when the office was open at WIM, I was not even told. I was not even told. But that is not the issue here. Thank you, Bill. Even the nomination, I was not asked to go. That is the problem. But it's not a cup of tea that I'm thirsty for. I don't want name and fame.
President Irfan Ali on Wednesday outlined the plans and reasons for the government's plan to establish a development bank. He said the intention is to provide opportunities for small and medium-sized businesses.
How are we going to ensure in the future that more small businesses are involved in the development of our country? How are we going to ensure that they have access to capital? How are we going to ensure that the bureaucracy in getting access to capital is removed? How are we going to ensure that the banking system is modernized to support small and medium-sized enterprise? How are we going to ensure that we can leverage the liquidity in the banking system to support small and medium-sized enterprises? And more importantly, how are we going to ensure that we create sustainable opportunities for small and medium-sized enterprises? These are the key issues. So in the plan, we want to establish a development bank to support financing, to support access to liquidity, to reduce the cost of borrowing, and to remove the collateral requirement, because these are the burdens that small and medium-sized enterprise face. So if you're able to match lending with a 0% interest rate, we can break down the interest rate in the commercial bank from 6% or 7% to 3% for SMEs. And then when we remove the risk, by making the matching rate available, remove the risk, the bank in turn will have to reduce that collateral requirement that is there right now. So accessing financing becomes easier, much more simple, and at less cost.
Residents of Region 1, Barima Waini, are witnessing significant development on improvements in infrastructure, job opportunities, education, and healthcare. This was evident on Wednesday night as a large crowd gathered in the town of Mabaruma for the PPPC's election campaign rally.
The People's Progressive Party Civic (PPPC) launched its elections campaign in Mabaruma Region 1 on Wednesday night. This is a region that has benefited from improvements across the sectors, mainly as it relates to infrastructure, health, and education. Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowell headlined the launch, where he reaffirmed the party's commitment to continued progress. He outlined key achievements, including the installation of 24-hour electricity and internet access, the deployment of over 2,500 community support officers, the distribution of free school textbooks, and improvements in health services.
The People's Progressive Party Civic is about consistency. The People's Progressive Party Civic is people-centered. You will never see us being individualistic in nature. We are about your community development. We are about your welfare. We are about fixing the issues, coming up with policies and programs. We came out of the last government from 2020. This is the same country. This is the same Region 1. This is the same Mabruma. This is the same community. Same region. And you examine the performance. You examine the difference that we bring. We are a party of consistency. What we say we will do, you can be rest assured we will deliver on our commitments. Once you are willing to work and you're willing to work hard, we will provide the opportunity for you.
Longtime supporter Basil Mendonza expressed pride in the progress made. He has supported the PPPC since he first began voting.
I vote for PP since I started voting, and I'm proud of my party, and I happy to know that what the government doing, the PP government doing for us, and I see a lot of change. You know, in future that I'm glad that young people, you know, take a lot more responsibility of certain things that development coming, like we getting roads, and you know, I'm glad that we even getting with WAF, with transport, and much more other things.
Others who previously supported different parties have switched their loyalty, impressed by the government's delivery.
Since I'm a little boy, I was with the coalition, or you could say PNC, but I find the winning party, so I stick up on the winning brand. I have benefited from the LCD, I have benefited from the development, the road development, I have benefited on the 1,000, I have benefited on many things. Endorse of Mr. Ali because he's doing just what Guyanese people like me, want to see development.
First-time voter Kim Margo credited the PPPC for creating job opportunities.
Growing up, I said to myself, I have seen progress in the past years while growing up, to my youths coming up. And PPP has done a lot for me because back in the days, there was not like job. PPP clear way for us as young people to get job. I myself am proud. I have been employed as a community health worker for my community.
Kroll urged residents to remain engaged and empowered to ensure continued progress. For the newsroom, Sharda Bacchus.
In an effort to counter negative portrayals of queer individuals in the media, the Society Against Sexual Orientation Discrimination, SASAD, is turning the spotlight on the positive contributions of LGBTQIA+ persons in society. Speaking during the launch of the LGBTQIA+ Manifesto 2025 on Wednesday, SASAD Managing Director Joel Simpson said the organization is focused on shifting the narrative around these persons by highlighting their everyday impact and achievements.
By putting stories of real LGBTQIA people in Guyana with their parents, sisters, brothers, co-workers, friends on mainstream media, on television, on social media. So you see a different story. What's lacking is we don't publicize and air those positive stories enough. Because at the root of this kind of behavior sometimes is the discrimination and the violence that people have suffered in their lives. So this is the only way they know how to behave and react. We're getting back to really kind of ramping up our education around PrEP because we think it's underutilized. And one of the ways that we're doing that is going to be training persons from the community to be ambassadors for PrEP.
More news ahead. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching the newsroom. With Guyana facing an acute labor shortage, the government is exploring the best option to import foreign workers. And President Dr. Irfan Ali says laws are already being drafted. However, he said the government will ensure that Guyanese will be given the priority where jobs are available.
2027, here the largest mines in South America will be operational near Guyana. This is right now. One have already started with Bedford. They're looking for over 1,200 workers now, and they can't find those workers. And that's an issue. I know many of you have already raised. Where the workforce will come from? That is why we are in the final stages now of reviewing all of the migration documentation and labor laws that other countries would have utilized to come up with our own migration policy and strategy to support development. The Attorney General Office, they have already drafted the framework for that new legislation because we need people to push this development. But we are going to ensure one thing, we maximize what we have here.
Denise Miller, a prominent figure in Guyana's African cultural community, has a compelling message about the spiritual core of African identity. Miller stresses that spirituality, distinct from religion, lies at the heart of African identity and calls for the protection of Georgetown's parade ground, a sacred soil. The ground is not just a recreational site, but the final resting place of ancestors, including those who resisted slavery in the 1823 Demerara Revolt. Recent upgrades, such as floodlights, have raised concerns that further development, like pavilions, may disturb ancestral remains. Miller insists that African cultural groups must be consulted to preserve the site's spiritual integrity.
In terms of what transpires at the parade ground, because we don't want the energy and the dynamics of the parade ground where our ancestor bones are at rest to be troubled. And so we are facing that battle right now. Even though, and this is how the parade grounds come under the Mayor City Council, we are noticing that there are diversions going on the parade ground. In ancestral worship and in the Ifa culture, the work of our ancestors are very important for us because we are today here based on them, on whose shoulders we stand. The work begins with them. And so we pay honor to them, and where their bones are resting, it is sacred to us. And to trouble it, we take offense as African people to that. And so I want that to be clear. Could I have a drum roll?
The heartbeat of Guyanese culture will pound with passion at this year's Panjam concert, organized by local musician and lawyer Rion Miller. Centered on the theme, In the Village, the Steel Pan and Music Concert will take patrons on an odyssey through idyllic village life, celebrating Guyanese music, talent, food, and culture. The event will be held on Saturday, July 26 at Park Green.
Panjam in the Village goes down July 26th at 7 p.m. at Park Green, Mohamed Park. If you love steel pan, if you love vibes, if you love that entertainment that you get from local music, Panjam is the place to be. For this year particularly, we wanted to focus on a theme that signifies unity. And what better signifies unity than the village culture? Everybody in the village lives in oneness. Everybody in the village lives in togetherness. So we wanted to bring that aspect out in our team this year, especially with everything that's going on in Guyana right now. So I think it was very fitting to call this show Panjam in the Village. And we're actually pulling from different village cultures to have that exemplified on the stage through music and through steel pan especially, and even through the food that we're offering on the show. Everything, it's supposed to represent that village oneness that we get from Guyanese culture. We wanted to focus on more village music. So you're gonna hear some folk songs, you're gonna hear some national songs, but you're still gonna get the vibe that you get from Panjam, which is the soca, the reggae, your chutney, your dancehall. But we're bringing in all of those aspects of village culture, especially to signify the music that comes from villages. Even the food, we're pulling together amalgams of different food from different culture. Regular Guyanese dishes that you know, but we're going to take it and upscale it and add it. We have a section called the Panjam Creole Gourmet section. So it's going to be very exciting. The food there is going to be stuff that you know and you love, but it's going to be there with a twist. You know, Panjam is a Guyanese show made by Guyanese for Guyanese. We have Duke Ross. He's going to be there for the first time. I think this is his first time on a big stage in Guyana. We have singing sensation Calvin Burnett. He's going to be there. We have Nikita. We have Guyana's leading saxophonist Roy Stewart. He's going to be there as well. There's Jesse Schultz. There's an interesting addition this year. We're having a sax clash. Two saxophonists are going to go on stage and battle it out. It's very interesting. So that sax clash is between Roy Stewart and Jesse Schultz. And of course, we have our steel panists. We have my good friend Joshua Grella out from Trinidad. Everyone loved him last year. They begged to bring him back. So we brought him back this year. And he's now on a winning streak with his new Guinness World Record for performing for about 34 hours straight. And we have other local steel pan acts. We have Ray Sparman, excellent soloist, the leader of the Guyana Police Force Steel Orchestra, and reigning solo champion for about 5 or 6 years. We have Peyton Daniels. He's the leader of the Pangu Steel Orchestra. He's going to be performing a solo set for us as well. We have some talented youngsters from 592 Fusion. They're going to be coming and giving us a beautiful folk song section. And we're going to be having some African and Indian drums being done by Amjad Ali and Kumo. That's 592 African drums. So it's very interesting. Have a very interesting lineup. And of course, you know, the second half is where all the vibes is. That's a clash between two large steel orchestras set up on two different stages where they go tune for tune in a pseudo clash. For those two bands this year, we have the Anson McCall Parkside Steel Orchestra and the Pangu Steel Orchestra. And they're absolutely ready to rock the house. They're very excited for this clash. You can find tickets at any Massey Stores location nationwide and at Insurance Brokers of Guyana Limited, that is upstairs of Oasis Cafe. You can find those physical tickets there. Physical tickets are currently $8,500 for general tickets and $30,000 for the Panjam VIP experience tickets. You can also find e-tickets on the Potsalt Events app for the same prices.
Guyana's Tisha Mangra, who's the chair of the Caribbean Community Youth Advisory Board, believes the region's food security efforts can truly transform when young persons like herself are not only involved but also empowered and equipped to take action. Mangra was speaking at the virtual launch of the 2025 edition of Caribbean Agriculture Week, scheduled to be held in St. Kitts and Nevis. During her remarks, Mangra highlighted the many ways youth are already transforming agriculture in the Caribbean.
From backyard gardens to agri-tech startups, from eco-farming collectives to agri-digital marketplaces. Youths are not waiting for change, we are cultivating it. But to harvest resilience, we must be intentional. We must ensure inclusion over tokenism, partnership over isolation, and policies over platitudes. If our food systems are to truly transform, they must become spaces where youth, women, indigenous people, and marginalized groups are not just present, but empowered, equipped, and prioritized. This year, Youth Advisory Body is proud to lead a dynamic youth agenda at CWA 2025. We will spotlight the themes that matter most to our generation, such as circular agriculture and youth economy, digital market access, and agri-innovation, inclusion of marginalized youth in food systems, agri-education, and transitioning into entrepreneurship, regional youth collaboration for climate and food resilience, among others. These are not just youth issues, these are Caribbean imperatives. And we are not the future, we are present-day drivers of regional resilience. To our partners, CARICOM, AICA, FAO, CPSO, national governments, thank you for investing in young people. Thank you for recognizing that resilience does not grow in silos, it grows in solidarity. To my fellow youth, this is your movement, your voice, your vision, your venture can shape the Caribbean's future. Let CWA 2025 be the place where we don't just speak up, but we scale up. Because when young people grow agriculture, agriculture grows the Caribbean.
Daniela Chase, a Guyanese author and entrepreneur, is set to launch her first book, an inspiring autobiography, on Saturday, July 19 at the Umanayana in Georgetown. The book, titled Becoming Bolder with Every Step, traces her journey from a spirited childhood in Bartica to becoming a businesswoman, blogger, and now published author. During an interview with the newsroom, Chase reflected on her roots and shared insights into her book.
So, who's Daniela? I'm Daniela, and I am from Bartica. I grew up in Bartica with my grandmother, siblings, and cousins in the line. I was always very talkative. My grandmother called me Prattle Minister, and I always loved to write. She also called me Bobby Wrightel. I've always loved writing, and in my teen years, I created the blog to have a space where I could just write, and my writing would not be at the risk of someone finding them in a book or something. And so I think the first name of my blog was Scattered Words. But of course, as I wrote and, as I discovered that writing was my gift, things became clearer. I realized I wasn't just writing stories, or I wasn't just sharing my thoughts. They were meant to be something bigger. And I didn't know it then, but maybe 3 years later, I was thinking about a name, and Daniela enough, because at that time, it was for me some self-assurance, or some assurance that, I am enough. In spite of the failures, in spite of the challenges, in spite of the setbacks, I was enough. And so the name was birthed. Learning, being, becoming Daniela Enough. So that's the blog. What inspired the book? I didn't plan on writing a book. I just liked writing. I just wrote. And sometimes my friends would be like, all right, when we can get a book, when the book coming? I'm like, a book? No. But while I was stuck in Colombia during the pandemic, it became clear to me that writing a book was an assignment. And at first I wondered how I do it, not having the resources, not having the knowledge of how to even go about writing this book, publishing this book. So the book is personal journey. It's about stepping out of your comfort zone. It's about embracing failure as a checkpoint in your journey, not your destination. It's about redefining success as a person. And it's also about discovering your gifts and watching the world make room for you. The launch is happening on Saturday, finally. And it's going to be at the Umanayana, which is very special for me because as a hinterland student, Umanayana was the place we went for the important gatherings, leaving President's College in the big bus, driving down to Umanayana. And so having the launch at Umanayana is very special. It's going to be on Saturday, July 19th at 3 p.m. Times Square. It was a big moment. I knew it was happening on that day. I knew the time it was happening. I saw it from my computer on the live camera. But when I got to Times Square and I know, I'm standing there waiting for it to come up on the screen, just like, okay, it's coming. But when it came on the screen, I just felt like my heart just started pounding. It was a moment. It was a moment where an idea was living out in the world in Times Square. It reminded me of my first time in Times Square, seeing the lights, seeing everything, the big city. It was a moment. Daniela the businesswoman is shaped by my mother. My mother has always been an entrepreneur. And so as a child, she started her first business. So she bought these like sweet drinks and Chico, and we would sell them and use the money from them as our school money. And that's where Daniela the businesswoman, really started. And then later in high school, I went into a Chinese store on Regent Street and I saw that they were selling combs. And I was like, you know what? We always need combs in the derms, right? So I bought a pack of combs and I resold them. And things took off from there. It was doing rearing poultry after that. It was doing Avon after that. And then, was there anything in between? And now there's Stiletto Fetish, my women's shoes retail business, which I've been doing for over 11 years. So Daniela the businesswoman is, I sold fruit juice too. I had a fruit juice business named Fruit Go, for your fruit on the go. But Daniela the businesswoman, she's inspired by my mother, that part of me. The girl or the woman who still dreams of traveling the world. The girl who, takes the risks in spite of. And the girl who is just desiring to walk in purpose and to fulfill what God has assigned me to do. So I think that's Daniela the girl. That's me, that's Daniela.
A $360 million state-of-the-art Bartica Practical Instruction Center, the sixth of its kind in the country, was commissioned by Education Minister Priya Manik-Chand on Wednesday.
The $360 million state-of-the-art Bartica Practical Instruction Center providing cutting-edge technology that will greatly advance the technical and vocational education and training TVET here. It is a massive investment into the country's educational infrastructure, the Education Minister Priya Manik-Chand said.
This facility here gives you what you would not have had before, the opportunity to benefit from the traditional type education, math and English, social studies and science, mixed with skills that you can perfect right here or then move on to a technical training center.
Emphasizing the importance of facilities like this, Minister Manik-Chand said Guyana's geographical makeup is unique. She noted that during the COVID-19 pandemic, many of the shortcomings were highlighted and new methods and systems to improve the education system were incorporated. It was following the pandemic that the Education Ministry increased its textbook distribution to each student rather than classrooms only, and hybrid learning was expanded to include the Cyril Potter College of Education, CPCE.
That's the kind of work that went into making sure we could not only continue an education system but better it.
Additionally, the minister said these facilities are designed to transform and improve the country's skilled labor capacity. Referring to global research on the need for persons to be certified in both traditional educational methods and skill-based, the minister said every child in the education system is learning a trade.
Our hope is that every child across the country by third form will have CVQ certification in third form. Every single child across this country.
At these centers commissioned at Mabruma, Fellowship, Hopetown, Better for Acting, St. Ignatius, and now Bartica, students can take up skills training in motor repairs, commercial food preparations, furniture making, welding, masonry, plumbing, and information technology. These facilities are strategically constructed in the compound of the secondary schools to provide easier access to classes. Reporting for the newsroom, Lizina Yearwood.
When the newsroom returns, the financial weather and bridge reports along with sport news. That's it for me, Kurt Campbell. Take care.
coming to you from the National Stadium Providence, the venue for the second ExxonMobil Guyana Global Super League. And it is the end of the preliminary phase of the competition and a damp end to it with match number 10 deemed a no result. Rangpur Riders, the defending champions, up against Central Stars. Rangpur Riders, they batted first and they were bowled out for 79 in 13.5 overs. And because of several interruptions, the match was reduced to 14 overs per side. 25 from Saif Hassan and another 25 from Mahidul Ankon. Those were the principal scorers for Rangpur Riders. And on the bowling side, 3 wickets for Angus Shaw, 3 for Jaden Lennox, and another 3 for Blair Tickner. But of course, a damp end to the preliminary phase of the competition. A game really that had no impact on the table, save and except for the Central District. Had they won, they would have come up from bottom. And with the no result, the share of points has taken the Rangpur Riders, unbeaten in the tournament, to top of the table. Alongside me, Akeem Green, not the type of end that you'd want to the preliminary phase of the competition, but not much impact really on what would happen tomorrow.
Yeah, this game, well, yeah, it was a dead rubber game, and certainly in great reality, it ended up to be a dead rubber as the two teams would have shared points. Probably maybe an early day for everyone as they switch attention to the final. I think it's going to be a big final. I think Rangpur Riders will want to show their authority on the tournament and clearly defend that title. They would know the history and the jitters of the Amazon Warriors brand in finals, not necessarily these players. They have some players in this team that are known to winning big matches. So it will be a test to see whether the Amazon Warriors can come good. The Rangpur team has found a way of defending well against the Amazon Warriors. So whether it's a bit of a tactic from the camp to switch things up and probably look to put something on the board against Rangpur, depending on how the toss go. But certainly that today you would have looking for a bit of excitement. But I guess for both teams, they know there was nothing in it other than personal pride, and it meted out because of the rain to be a share of points.
Yeah, the Rangpur Riders, of course, they have defended well. They won 2 matches by 8 runs and another one by a solitary run. And I thought today when they won the toss, maybe just ahead of that final, as a dress rehearsal, maybe they wanted to maybe bowl first and try to chase a total, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, probably not. I think maybe if there was an evening match, I think the day matches, it's usually a bit difficult in the mornings. But I think probably if they had to do that dress rehearsal, they would look to it in a night match scenario, which would be, the replica of the Jew, etc., that would happen in the evenings. But all the boxes, and to be honest, the two teams that are in the final have by far looked the best teams when it comes to how they perform on the field. So in all regards, I think it's a very close one to call. But if you're obviously from a Guyanese perspective, you'd want to see the Amazon Warriors win. But I wouldn't be surprised if Rangpur lifts it again.
Right, and of course you talk about those two teams at the top there being the top teams of the tournament really and enjoying conditions here. We know this is the fortress for the Guyana Amazon Warriors, and Rangpur Riders, they played last year, they won the tournament here and they understand conditions. And we have seen the opposite with the other 3 teams playing here for the first time. Central Districts, Dubai Capital and Hobart Hurricanes, they finished bottom of the bottom 3 of the table, and really conditions not working in their favor, and they have not been able to book a place in a final.
Yeah, look, sometimes it takes a while to understand these conditions at Providence. Rangpur obviously being here yet again, probably in Bangladesh. You would have thought maybe like Dubai Capitals, given where they play, the heat as well, they could have adjusted well. But see, the tournament is such a short turnover at times. When you're on the back foot, it's hard to recover, unlike what Rangpur did in the initial year. But for those teams like Central Stags and the Hurricanes in Australia and New Zealand, that play on really good pitches that come through, free scoring, big hitting might not be as easy in Guyana. So it's all about adaptability. And if you're a champion side, which this tournament looks to bring, the champion teams from around the world, it's about how well, you can adapt in those conditions and continue to be a champion team.
Yeah, well, before today's game, there was the big one last evening between the Guyana Amazon Warriors and Hobart Hurricanes. The Warriors, of course, they needed to win to ensure that they got a place in that final against Rangpur Riders. They bowled first, dismissed Hobart Hurricane for 125, and by the end of that game, we had an almost capacity crowd here at Providence. It was almost like CPL-like atmosphere, and of course, Shimron Hetmaya bringing this place alive.
Yeah, what would you say, 4 away from 6 sixes? Yeah, I think it's been a while. It's been a while since he delivered something that Guyanese can go home and say, yes, Hetty. And he himself would have stated this a couple of times in some media interactions that, he wants to deliver. The fans in those many fan chats would always be saying they want more from Hetty. In context of last night, that was the top performance. He didn't need to score 80 or 60, but what he did last night totally swept the game away, and it made it a cakewalk for the Amazon Warriors to get into that final. So I think a lot of persons would have left happy last night because Hetty really came and produced an innings also. It started with Gode Kishmoti, another son of the soil. So I think from a Guyanese fan perspective, they would be happy. The Amazon Warriors also look very dominant and a lot of confidence as they head into that big final as well.
Yeah, of course, 39 of 10 deliveries for Shimron Hetmyer, 19 of 13 for Gode Kishmoti, along with that 3 wickets. But I felt a particular innings in that Warriors chase that went under the radar. Moeen Ali, 31 out of 36 deliveries in a T20 game, going at less than a run a ball. Really crucial to the outcome there, holding up one end.
Yeah, so you can remember as well, the Rangpur Riders would have defeated the Amazon Warriors from a position where I think many would have packed up and headed home and know that, it should have been an easy victory. And so probably that played on their mind, and the conditions became a bit uneasy at times, and probably more, and just knowing that the other guys were going at 200s and 400 strike rate, he could have just played the ball and ensured the stability at one end. So I think that is the value of experience. A lot of times, a lot of critics say that, get rid of some old heads, but I think that still, even in T20 cricket, you still need a bit of an experience factor there, and Moeen showed that experience to really guide the Amazon Warriors home.
Well, after the game, we caught up with Shimron Hetmyer and the ENET UNECTO Player of the Match, Gode Kishmoti. All right, Gode Kish, first of all, congrats on the Man of the Match award. Let's start with your bowling first. What was your strategy on the wicket today?
My strategy was simple. The wicket was offering a lot of spin, so you have to know the correct pace to bowl on the wicket, and which I figure out. Bowling slow, you get more punches from it, so I was just doing that.
What target you guys were looking to restrict them to?
Anything under 130 was a good target for us because we know how difficult it is coming down to the end for chase and whatever. So we was looking at 130.
Yeah. Before we talk about your batting effort, talk to us a bit about what's happening in the dressing room when Shimron was going great guns.
Oh, we all was excited because we know the talent of Shimron Hetmyer, and a matchup was bowling to him there, so we know he was going to take him down any day. So yeah, we were really excited about it.
Yeah. And your batting effort, what was your approach today?
Well, the coach came to me and told me that I'm batting 7, so I go out and take up the responsibility, play, knock it around, because we only needed like 4 or 5 runs over. So my approach was just go in and give Mo the strike and just.
Big game on Friday against Rangpur Riders. How confident are you guys now that you can go all the way?
We are very confident. We win 3 games in a row, and we know the talent that we have in the dressing room, that anyone could step up on a day. So yeah, we're really confident going forward.
Shimron, you lit up Providence tonight, 5 6s in and over. What was your approach there tonight, and what worked for you on that wicket?
For me, I guess it's just the same mindset that I had during CPL, which is just if it's left arm spin, just try as much as possible to take it down. And that was basically it.
Disappointed you missed out on 6 6s?
Yeah, I was, but at the end of the day, once we get across the line, I think that's the main thing, to be honest.
Yeah, everybody seemed to be struggling on the wicket, but you seem to be playing on a different one completely.
Like I said, it's just a clear mind. Having a clear mind helps, and then having left arm spin to the, for me, the shorter side, which is hitting downwind as well. That helps a whole lot as well. So it's just for us to, I guess and to be clear when you're trying to hit the ball as well. So if the ball is there in your area, you try to hit it, and if it's not, just try to rotate strike.
Yeah, you guys started with a defeat, and you've had 3 wins on the trot now. You think you have ticked all the boxes going into the final?
I don't think we have completely yet. I think a good start for us is still something that we're waiting for. So with the 1 game remaining, I think that's something that we could work on for the final basically. But I guess it is a short tournament as well, so it's just for us to continue to do the right things, which is just bat with a clear mind, and then when we're in the field, scrap for every run.
When you go around this venue, everybody wants Hetty to perform. How much does that motivate you?
It's a good and a bad, I guess, because sometimes when that could also bring pressure on you as a player as well. So it's just for you to not think about it too much and just to move forward from it, and then try as much as possible to put in some good performances, because there are always times in a cricketer's career when he's not going to be doing well. So when you do get the chance to do well, you just take as much as you can.
Well, there you have it. A little bit of pressure and motivation there for Shimron Hetmyer when the fans, they want him to perform every single time. And of course, we've been in the venue, Hakeem, and reaching out to fans, and they have had their say right throughout the Global Super League.
Yeah, I think the fans, as you would have mentioned there, they just love Hetmyer. It's the greatest love-hate relationship in recent times. Probably, the previous one would probably been SARS. Whenever he plays those hook shots, the guys would say, oh gosh, why again? So I think the fans will go home happy now that Hetty came up trump and he did well. And I think a lot of guys know their cricket as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of laughs, a lot of jokes, a lot of guys having the other stuff, but a lot of guys know their cricket, they love their cricket. And I think they just want to see the Guyana brand do well. I know many of them are pushing for more players to be in the setup, but they just generally love their cricket. And I think they want to see those Guyanese premier players like Hetty, a fit Chemo, Romario Shepherd, obviously Moti as well, Shafane. They want to see those guys do well.
Yeah, of course. And hopefully Shimron Hetmyer can come good in that final and give the Warriors fans yet another chance to smile and go home on Friday night with that victory and that trophy, the Global Super League 2025. Let's hear from the fans, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. I'm sure you enjoyed that moment of play. 5 6s in the over by Shimron.
Oh yes, from our very own. We love him so much. And I have a few visitors with me, and they're enjoying it too. There are always a good moment when he's on the field. As you can tell, I'm very hoarse. Love it, love it, love it.
So moments ago, you witnessed 5 6s in the over from Shimron Hetmyer. How special was that?
I couldn't expect anything better than that. I was a bit nervous, but it came off really good.
Seems as though you wanted to get 6 6s in the over, right?
Well, 5 is okay. 5 is all right. 5 is okay. The most important thing is that he accomplished 2 more runs within the over, within 1 ball.
What's your thoughts on the atmosphere here tonight?
Well, the atmosphere is great. I love the atmosphere. Love it a lot. Love it a lot. Love it a lot. The beauty of it is that there's no rain or anything, so it's a good game to sit and watch.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, tell me how much you enjoyed that passage you played just now. 5 6s from Hetmyer and over.
That was a good shot. I enjoyed that shot. I think he did a tremendous work, and glad to see him in the final, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, see you all decked out in the Amazon Warriors. What does this team mean to you?
Good performance, man. Good drive. I like the drive.
And you've been a fan from the very start?
No, this is my first time.
Wow.
Yeah.
At the stadium here?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
So what's your impressions of what you've seen here tonight?
It's a beautiful game, and I enjoy it. I can tell you that. And I'll come again. And I'm definitely going to be here for the final.
Hope to see you then.
Yes. Thank you.
Before we talk about the cricket, right? Are you interested in a shot like that? Where you got enough away?
New York.
New York?
Yeah.
So you have book flight all together. Anyway, your thoughts on the game?
Huh?
Your thoughts on the game?
Guyana got to say, man. Easy.
Yeah, Tiba, you enjoy the piece of cricket just now.
That's the bad man. If they get it, they get it. If they get it, that's it.
Man, how back the time you used to last ball like the back in the day too.
Bumper ball.
Bumper ball.
Nah, ball.
It was a bad man in the day.
Aye.
You must set up my one shot.
No problem.
When I go back to New York?
I'm going to send it, man. Send it in.
Send it on WhatsApp.
All right, no problem.
Good evening and welcome from Providence Stadium, where we greet you. The Guyana Amazon Warriors are chasing down 125 in 20 overs. The Harvard Hurricanes needed to bowl out the Guyana Amazon Warriors to 70 in order to qualify for the finals. But however, that has passed. The Warriors are now 5 down for 87. What are your thoughts?
I think that, yes, we've lost some wickets, but we got 2 capable batsmen at the crease right now, and just a couple more runs to reach that total of 126. So I think we'll get over the line.
And rating the pitch tonight on a scale of 1 to 10, do you think it's a good batting surface?
Definitely a hard surface to bat on. I mean, the ball is spinning a lot, but Hetmyer show what he does. You know what I mean? One of the best batsmen of spin in the Caribbean and in the world.
That's Mo, not being knocked out right now. Here the stadium go crazy. And I just got one more question for you. Will the Amazon Warriors make it to the final and overcome the Rangpur Riders second time around?
definitely backing the Warriors to carry it over the line this year. You know, one Warriors, never two.
I think you're delusional. That's it for us here from Providence. Thank you.